Hi guys, so April is National Donate Life Month, and every month I share a post, every year I share a post during the month of April about National Donate Life Month. And it's the last day of April, but this time I just want to share a story with you of what's been going on in this past year. For those of you who have been following Jonah's journey, and Jonah is my younger son, you know that he was on the heart transplant list for a few months when he was a baby. And it was very heartbreaking for me as a mom, not only what would impact Jonah, but just the thought that another mother would have to go through an even worse grief, which is losing her child, for me to have the joy of keeping my child a little bit longer. So it was very hard for me to pray for a heart for Jonah. And I had shared these feelings with our transplant social worker. She was an angel, or is an angel on earth. And her response to me was that I didn't need to pray for the death of another baby, but instead to pray that a family would be willing to give the gift of life even through their own grief. And that has sat with me throughout the years. And the end of 2022, Ray and I decided to host a small group for our church in our home. And one of the earlier meetings that we had with this newly formed small group, a member of the group, Tim, had asked for prayers as he was listed on the kidney transplant list, awaiting a kidney. He was on dialysis and battling this kidney disease and now needed a transplant, and that we should just pray for a kidney soon for him. Immediately, I knew that this is something I could do. I had 2 C-sections, how much worse could a kidney transplant be? And I was ready to raise my hand, but of course I had to consult with my husband first, Ray. When I shared with him that evening that this is something I was thinking of, he immediately said no. So I let it go. And exactly a week later, Ray came to me and said he had been praying about it, and if I still felt led, he would not object. So I reached out to Tim and said, hey, I would love to check if I'm a match for you. And he was excited, grateful. And he gave me the information for the person who I needed to get in touch with at the transplant center to get the process started. Went through the entire process, and we were waiting it was the last bit of wait to see if I was a match, when early last year I met into a horrific car accident and went to the ER. And it's funny how God works, because it's not the ER for the hospital. It wasn't the ER. It was the closest ER to the accident that I was taken to. And when I was heading back to be put in a room, when I was being taken back to put in a room, Bray turned around and was startled, like he saw somebody that he didn't expect. And when he came back to me, he shared that my recipient was in the ER, and he didn't know how, his first thought was how did they hear so quickly? My recipient and his wife was in the ER. only to find out that coincidentally Tim's blood pressure spiked so high that his wife had to rush him to the ER. And from that day on, we've been joking that we're twins because his body felt when my body was going through trauma. The following day, we actually got the word that I was indeed a match for Tim, and that as long as everything checked out okay, I was still a candidate for surgery to donate a kidney. And surgery was scheduled for July 23rd. And on July 23rd, they took out one of my kidneys and put it in Tim. So Tim now has 3 kidneys, 2 not functioning, but 1 good functioning kidney. I told him it's my kidney, so it's a very special kidney. Actually, some of my friends have said that it's a fun-sized kidney. If you know me, I'm not the biggest person in the world. But anyway, with that, I just wanted to share, since this is something every year that I talk about, I did put my money where my mouth was, and it has been such a blessing to give the gift of life. Not trying to make this religious, but as Christ gave the gift of life to us, it is just a blessing to be able to share a gift of this nature with someone else. With that, I'm not encouraging people to go out and give a kidney or whatever. This is a very personal decision, and it is a hard decision for a lot of people to make. But I just want to encourage you to learn more about donation overall, and if that's something for you. And I just want to read a quick excerpt from the post that I first made that first year that Jonah had his kidney removed. The first year that Jonah was listed for the heart transplant. And it says, "It is the hardest thing to think of when you have lost someone you love deeply, whether a child, a spouse, a sibling, or a parent, to stop and think about someone else. But by giving the gift of life, your loved one's legacy lives on in a very literal way. Even in life, we can choose to give life, either by giving a living donation, blood, marrow, or organs, like a kidney, that can be transplanted from a living donor, or by registering as a donor or letting your loved ones know your wishes to donate if they ever had to make the decision for you. This may be a little bit morbid, but the intention is one of hope for the hundreds of thousands of persons awaiting some form of transplant so that they can live both literally and figuratively. So please consider donating life, and at least take a look at the Donate Life website, which I'll share in my post, for more information. There's so many people out there waiting on transplants. The irony is that my first cousin was listed for a kidney transplant literally the weeks after I had committed my kidney to Tim. She's still on that transplant list waiting. And another thing is blood type O can only receive O donations, but blood type O can give to anybody. And I'm a blood type O, and my cousin is a blood type O, and she is now waiting patiently for her own kidney, her own life-saving donation. But as I said, there's hundreds and thousands of people waiting for different kinds of donations, and I just want to encourage you all to sit and consider, in whatever capacity you can, seriously consider to donate life. With that, I just want to wish you blessings, love, and abundant life to each and every one of you.